Is Mashiba's career over? Let's talk about it. But first, want your hands up and your chin down. Ready? Box! Alright, y'all, back with a chapter. I can't call it a banger because it's pretty solo. Now, as you know, in the last chapter, Mashiba lost the match. It seems that when he fell over and his spine got tweaked, it had an effect lasting right now. He literally couldn't get off his last punch. He was about 3 centimeters away from knocking out Rosario, becoming the WBC lightweight world champion. This mirrors how Kimura lost to him. So you say it's poetic justice, but man, it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch. And shout out to 3 claps for Maury Calvin, because he made us love a character we used to hate. I used to hate Mashiba. I never nothing good happened to him. I thought all his fights would just be violent, bloody. He was just a bad guy. But watching him change, I actually feel bad for him. But I digress. Let's jump into the chapter. It starts off with the announcer was going crazy, like the dude just lost. So you can say all this, but the announcer's going crazy. It says, "The arena has fallen deathly silent. Not a single sound from anyone." Author's note. The end of the fight weighs heavy and painfully. What are Ippo and the others thinking? Announcer goes on. Everyone is simply dumbfounded at the sight before them. Oh, by the way, this is chapter 1482, Reverberating Conclusion. You see Ippo, hands shaking, looking from the rafters. Kumi, hands on her face in disbelief. Both Kimura's employer and his employer's daughter on the side. Ippo stares off, still quiet. Then he makes a grimace and looks down. Suddenly looks over at Kumi, whose hands are still on her face. The announcer goes on. The challenger is leaving on a stretcher. He fought until the bitter end, but how deep was his damage? His battered appearance tells the story of his death match. He's not able to leave on his own. It was a fight that will be etched permanently into the hearts and minds of all who witnessed. And we see Mashiba and his team walking out with him on a stretcher. He has a towel covering his eyes. We have not seen Mashiba's face since he fell over. We don't know if he's alive or if he's kicking a bucket or if he's permanently injured or what's wrong with him. There's a towel over his face, looking very last episode-ish. You get my drift. Ippo tells Kumi, "We should go, Kumi-san. We should go." Kumi's still quiet in disbelief. "You're his sister. They'll let you into his waiting room." And his boss and his boss daughter says, "You have to go. Kumi-chan, he needs you. She's just traumatized. Can she get a second? Jesus. Like, can she just get a second? My goodness, she's frozen in shock." Ippo grabs her up. The employer says, "Makanoichi-san, please take her." Yes, he runs off with her. The best boy. Ippo's still the best boy, but I feel bad for Kumi-chan. Like, her brother just may have lost his life. We want to go run and see him again? Like, I might not be able to face this on my own. Saramura gets up, says he lost. And Sendo says, Mashiba won. He got him again and again. If they hadn't locked legs that last time, no doubt about it, he'd have won. Saramura says, if they were a pair of goody two-shoes boxers, maybe I'd agree. But those two, you know the kind of guys they are. This is just their karma, as he strolls off. This is his purification, although I admit the price was steep. Sendo just thinks purification. No way I let some ish like that decide who wins and loses. Karma, ugh, that. Says, "Miyata, let's go," as he walks off. Then looks over at Miyata. Miyata's silent, just looking at the ring. See next Rosario saying, What's with this country? No applause for the winner? He's struggling to get out, holding on his coach's shoulder. I guess his coach manager's shoulder, technically. As they walk out, he says, I'm coming back here. Definitely. Sendo says, "Oi, what's wrong with you?" Miyata stays quiet and simply looks on. He looks at the silhouette of Rosario as he walks out. Stays looking, looks on. Looks at the empty world ring. Now, I think Miyata may be thinking of going to the world stage. He's thinking about going to the world stage and either avenging Mashiba, which would be crazy if that happens that way. Goes up a weight class, gets a fight with Rosario. So I see him beating Rosario. I see him beating everybody. But him fighting Rosario on behalf of Mashiba and going to the world stage, that would be a realistic way to play him up and get his story moving again, because after Randy Boy Jr., his story has been pretty much stagnant. But he looks at the ring. Next is people outside talking about the match. What an incredible match. It really was a death match. I wanted him to win. Yeah. Yeah, the cicadas in the back. Sawa, sawa, sawa. You hear the ambulance sound. The ambulance. I wonder if Mashiba's okay. I'm worried about him. I hope he's okay. Walking out. The crowd of people talking and speaking. We see Ippo head down, holding on his iconic backpack. Very shonen backpack. Like, reminds me of something that Gon would rock. Very shonen backpack. Bumps into somebody. I'm sorry, please excuse me. He's walking and Aoki bumps him from the back. I'm sorry. Aoki said, it's me. As being a clown. I love Aoki, man. He said, could you see it from your seats? From where we were, it looked like the last punch had landed. Kimura thinks he went out on his feet. Just like me. Also, I love Kimura's beanie. I know it's because his hair's growing back. I like how Morikawa plays with people's hair. So, like, if you gotta kind of keep up reading the story to find out what's going on with their heads, which I do like that. Aoki says, "Don't talk like you get it all." Here you go, Kimura. I'm the only one of us who could get it, who can get it. Itagaki goes on. That was during your match with Mashiba, right? It's karma. It goes, big brother Takamura. It's not karma, it's merit. The stronger boxer won. That's it. As he walks off from the team. Kimura says, speaking of which, what are you doing moping about all alone for? Ippo explains, I'm not his family or his employer. I couldn't go in. Aoki says, you're just leaving without knowing his condition. Ippo gives him a look like, what is he supposed to do? He looks down. Itagaki says, well, he didn't regain consciousness in the waiting room. It seems like he left in the ambulance. Itagaki looks up, Kimura looks down, Aoki and Ippo also look down, just carrying the weight of the situation. Takamura still looks up towards the world, understanding this is what boxers have to go through. Doesn't feel bad for him. Ippo simply says, I see. Next day, Ippo's training with his two kohai. He says, Toriya! He says, stay diligent, your protest is coming up. Yes, sir. Pass in one shot, we'll do it. They all begin shadowboxing. Ippo thinks, last night's match reminded me of the responsibility of being a second. Knowing your boxer's physical and emotional state so completely is really difficult. Am I ready to bear that kind of responsibility? Am I? Goes on back to the gym, says, huh? Aoki says, you still haven't heard anything from Kumi-chan? Ippo just looks at him. Aoki says, I heard something from Tomiko. Ippo says, has something happened to Mashiba-san? Arthur's note said, what news reaches a trembling Ippo? Well, I'm liking how Ippo does it. I'm liking how Morikawa does it. He gives you hope. He snatches it away. He snatches it away and shows you the reality of boxing. Now, you might not win the match. It's because you want to. It's because you're about to. It's because you try hard. And he gives us two perspectives. Like, you already know Takamura doesn't believe in God or karma. Just the better boxer wins. A lot of people like, it's karma. He was such a bad guy and then finally came back home. And it kind of lets you pick out where you stand on either side of that token. Only happened before is that Mashiba lost because he tripped. You know, that's when we say for sure happened. And how you feel about that is how you feel about that. Could have been accidents. He could have won, but he didn't. He didn't win. I like how it shows Ippo taking responsibility as a second. Like, yo, I got to look out for my fighters. Know about their emotional, mental states. That's going to be another. I like how it's showing that aspect of boxing too, like being a good coach and what that entails. Get the whole package with Ippo, man. When he comes back finally, I'm gonna look forward to it. I know his next run is gonna be his final run whenever he gets back into the ring. But yeah, this was a good chapter. You know, I can't say it was a banger because it was pretty sad. I didn't like how they just kind of snatched Kumi up. Like, give her some time to breathe. Like, Jesus. We'll see what happens next. You know, I do think it'll be maybe 4 or 5 chapters before we see Mashiba again. He has to go through his healing arc, his time off arc, and I think we'll be jumping into the protest, and maybe after that, the Ricardo fight. So that'll be a good little segue. You know what I mean? Just like a heavy fight, maybe some light fights, some joking, and then boom, another heavy fight. Because I think the Ricardo fight's gonna end in another tragedy. I don't see Sendo getting past round 4 realistically, but we'll see what happens. Thank you all for tuning in. Checking that like button, comment below, let me know how I did in this video and how I can improve. Go to the community page and vote on the Super 6 World Tournament.
That you've got to take personal responsibility to know that in order to become successful, you've got to make it your personal business to do it. But the next thing, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share with you that some of you already know that it's hard. It's not easy. It's hard changing your life. It was hard when just over 3 years ago in the Penobscot building in Detroit, Michigan, where I was operating my business, and I fell on some hard times, and I was sleeping in my office. It was hard coming into the lobby, and the security said, "Excuse me, Mr. Brown, can we see you for a moment?" And I said, "Yes," and I walked up to the counter, and he gave me an envelope. And he said, "Would you mind reading it here?" And I opened the envelope, and the envelope was from management that said, "This is an office tower. It's not a hotel. Please do not sleep in your office." And I said, "Excuse me, sir." I said, "I just work long hours in creating my business. I'm an entrepreneur. And right now, things are bad for me. But they're not going to be this way always. And I just asked for the opportunity to continue to operate like I'm doing. I'm not trying to make this my home." And it was hard coming through the lobby. And sometimes they would laugh. There's a guy talking about becoming successful. And look at him. He's bathing in the bathroom upstairs on the 21st floor. He sleeps on the floor. Him and two other dreamers up there. Look at him. It was hard, ladies and gentlemen, coming to speak to people. And I was facing financial difficulties in my own life. I was behind on my bills and my dreams, and I'm saying to them, you can live your dream. It was hard, ladies and gentlemen. It was very difficult to pick myself up each day believing that I could do it. There were times that I doubted myself. I said, "God, why is this happening to me? I'm just trying to take care of my children and my mother. I'm not trying to steal or rob from anybody. Why did this have to happen to me?" It was very hard. And here's what I want to say to you. For those of you that have experienced some hardships, don't give up on your dream. No one could have convinced me by holding on, by continuing to push forward, by continuing to run toward my dream, that one day I would have my own talk show. It's a long shot, ladies and gentlemen, from Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor, never knowing my mother or father. It's a long shot. Being here with you today in this dome in Atlanta, it's a long shot. No college training, labeled educable, mentally retarded, but I kept running toward my dream. Don't stop. Don't stop.